Good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, I am Roberto Antonini, one of the technical trainers of Xenia Security. Today, we are going to present the new topics, the latest news that will be released tomorrow. So, we are doing this kind of meeting from the Gemino meeting room of Xenia Security. Let's see which topics we are going to release. The first one is the new Manteinance page revision. The second topic, we will talk about the full details from the BUS Keypads, all the BUS Keypads. Third, we will check the direct management of the single partition on BUS Keypads. At last, a very big news, the RTSP stream management of IP cameras. At last, we will have a little session of question and answer. I please ask you to make questions regarding the topics we are discussing today. So, we will check at first from the installer menu, sub-menu Manteinance, which is the new layout of the Manteinance page. The first action that we can press is the no block event, where we will unblock all the events that we have blocked before. Alarm block, in this case, we will block all the alarms and the notifications of the events of alarm, except of the 24 hours zones and the unbypassable zones. Block actions instead will block all the alarms, including the 24 hours zones and including also the unbypassable zones. And also all the automations functions, they will all be blocked. The alarms will block only the alarms with the exceptions that I just said. Enable help desk Manteinance login. I will explain to you that this function must be enabled only when is in accord with the help desk team. So only in those occasions we can check the programming of the control panel and enable a trace if necessary. Alarm reset, as you know, will reset all the events of alarm. Communication reset will reset all the communications. And at last, we have a fault reset, where we are going to reset all the faults of the system if there are any more faults in the memories. Regarding the fault details, we have some faults over here. Before, we had a generic fault condition. From now on, we will have the details of the faults. So when we see that we have a fault, we just need to press enter. And as you can see, we have a bus peripheral, lost connected peripheral, and we just need to press enter again to see which specific bus peripheral is missing. If there is more than one, we just need to scroll and check which are the bus peripherals that are missing. The second improving of the management from the Ergo keypads, the BUS keypads that we have, is the arming of the single partitions. So, pressing the hash, we have the real-time situation of the partition. In this case, is armed, our perimeter detectors. If I want to disarm this partition, I just need to press enter and then enter my PIN code. If I want to manage another partition, I just need to scroll and manage all the single partitions that I want. I can do it pressing the hash, or I can enter at first the PIN code and then access the user menu, the partition status, and manage the single partition also from here. Okay? Let's talk now about the RTSP feature. Accessing the IP devices, cameras menu, we see that we have a new section where we can enter the RTSP URL. In this case, we have the URL of Xenia Security cameras, IP cameras. The two will indicate the resolution of the image. What we can do over here, we can manage the RTSP from a local connection or from a remote connection, but let me underline that from remote connection, it's enabled only through IP remote address, so not via cloud, Xenia Secure Web Cloud. To manage the snapshots from cloud, it's always necessary to enter the correct URL string. So in that case, we just need to do, as we already know, the entering of the correct snapshot of the specific IP camera. I just want to add that regarding the RTSP feature, when we open the port to connect through an IP public remote address, we need to open for the control panel and for each camera the TCP protocol and UDP protocol on our router, the ports. And let me also underline that from now on, it will also be possible to select up to 2 outputs in order to command their actions from the layout of our application Lattice 4.0. So when we are on the cameras page, we will be able to open up to these 2 outputs that we will select. For example, I want to open the entrance door directly from the camera image, and as well, I want to switch on the garden lights. Just an example to show. I will now show you the practical example on our app Lattice 4.0. As you can see, I will enter in the security page, cameras menu. I will access the office camera, and my colleague, friend Claudio, will show you the real time. You can see we don't have any more the snapshot. Let me remind you, local connected and via remote IP address, not via cloud. Via cloud, we also have the snapshots, as we already do and know. And the 2 outputs that we can activate from this layout. So very comfortable to open a door, for example, or switch on a light. I can zoom in. As you can see, it will stay in the zoom. So we don't have the snapshot that is reloading that will zoom out. In this case, we have zoom that it's always fixed. If I zoom out, I can do it with the 2 fingers, or I can press on the bottom right the icon with the lens to zoom out and have the entire image. Regarding also Webserver for the end user, and also, there is also an implementation of the management of the time scheduler. So also the end user from now on will be possible to manage, to set and program a time scheduler, not only from App Lattice 4.0, but also from the Webserver. I will just show it to you here from the programming page.
Sorry, I did a mistake accessing with the, let's access with the end user pin. So as you can see, in the menu, we also have the time schedulers menu. We were able to manage the time schedulers only from App Lattice 4.0. Instead, now, as you can see, we can add a new time scheduler from the Webserver installer immediately. So as we already know, we can give a description. We can choose one of the scenarios that we have configured that the installer previously configured. And we can choose also a specific time or use the sunrise and sunset automatic hour that the astronomical watch will set on its own. Repetitions all the days of the week, and if we have give as an information the specific nation where the control panel is installed, we also can bypass if it's a holiday day or not in that case. Okay, so this was also one more information that I wanted to give you regarding the new release that will come out tomorrow. Then we also have an AUXI HT new functioning. From the installer, there is a new field in the AUXI HT configuration page that it's named reverse output management. If it's enabled, this function has a meaning that the terminal that moves up and down the roller blind or the garage door from App Lattice 4.0 and from Webserver will present the reverse wiring. So we can decide from the software to manage the up and down in a reverse way in respect on how we have connected the terminals. So accessing the BUS peripherals page, expansion modules, we have our AUXI HT living room. In this case, we have named it like that. And as you can see, we also have this new options that we can enable, that it's the reverse output management. So if we connect the wiring in a reverse way, we don't need to change the cables, but we just need to invert the kind of logic that the expansion modules will analyze.